Inter Miami win on the road at D.C United thanks to a goal from Leo Campana and a brace from Luis Suarez off the bench. Miami starting 11 really quickly. In goal, of course, we have Drake Callender. On the left, Noah Allen, Freire, Aviles, David Ruiz on right back, which is very interesting. Federico Redondo on the left with Sergio Busquets in that CDM role and Diego Gomez on the right. And the front three is Robert Taylor, Leo Campana, and Julian Grasso. So DC originally opened up the scoring at Audi Field with an amazing play from the right-hand side of the field. There was a ground pass made from about the 30-yard mark into the penalty area from ex-Leeds player Mateusz Klich to Jared Shroud, where he takes 2 touches, bangs it top left, and gives DC the lead in the 14th minute. And just a few minutes after DC United scored, Leo Campana scored the equalizer thanks to an assist from Federico Redondo. Redondo fell to the ground a couple of times during this play, but was able to stay up and place it perfectly for Campana to finesse it around the goalkeeper with his left foot, making it 1-1. Then El Pistolero came on in the 62nd minute for Robert Taylor. And in the 71st minute, a counterattack for Inter Miami where Luis Suarez received the ball from a cross in from Campana on the floor, where he tapped it in with his left foot into the bottom left corner. And now Inter Miami lead 2-1. The final goal came in the 84th minute where Luis Suarez and Inter Miami had another counterattack, breaking the defense. Suarez keeps his composure in the box, gets by one defender, goes around another, and simply just chips it right over the goalkeeper with his left foot. Keeper did get a hand to it, but it clearly crosses over the line with no questions asked, and Inter Miami are up 3. So yeah, a great victory, a very important 3 points. Some standout players that I think we need to talk about, both in the negative and positive ends. So let's get straight into it. Let's just start off from the defense, where I mainly want to talk about Freire. Now, DC United were playing very, very aggressively. They were constantly pressuring Inter Miami, and Freire, I thought, was just caught lacking in a couple of areas and a couple of times during maybe the opening 20-25 minutes of the game. And honestly, in my opinion, Freire's poor positioning led to DC United's first goal. As you could see, in between Freire and Allen is Shroud, and a lot of people could say it was Allen's fault. A lot of people could say it was Freire's fault. To be honest, well, Allen is worried about the man way out wide, which honestly, he shouldn't really be worried about it too much. Freire was just caught watching Klich in the midfield with the ball and completely just left Shroud unmarked. He tried to catch up, but it honestly wasn't enough, and it was a great strike that led to the opening goal. In my opinion, Inter Miami were pretty lucky that they didn't concede at any other point during those opening 30 minutes. It really looked like DC were going to get at least 2 goals in that opening frame. But regardless, no matter how poorly I think Freire performed or what some other people think, he did unfortunately come off with an injury, and it looked like a potential hamstring injury. He was kind of holding on to the hamstring, and so that means he's going to be out for quite a while. I'm assuming for maybe 2 months, but that's just my guess from watching football and seeing football. And normally from a hamstring injury, you're normally out for at least maybe 6 weeks. As I'm recording this, there has been no official word of it yet, but when it does come out, I'll probably tweet it, which you can follow my Twitter in the link in the description. So in place of Freire, after his injury in around the 31st minute, it was Sergii Kryvtsov that came in. And in my opinion, the defense looked a lot better with Sergii in there. And I know I've hated on Sergii, especially in these last couple videos. I've been saying that he was too slow. He's just simply not quick enough on the ball, and especially to transition back into defense when we do play pretty high or pretty aggressively. This was the complete opposite. Because it was a different game, DC United were doing that to us, so we did play a lower defensive line, and I think that worked perfect for Sergii Kryvtsov. He turned his slowness more into patience and composure in front of the ball. It really helped the squad beat DC's constant pressure. I've said in previous videos that I've never thought Sergii Kryvtsov was a bad defender. I think he's a great defender, but I've always said that he just wasn't quick enough for Inter Miami style, at least from what Tata has been playing in recent games, where it's quick transition into defense when the teams can quickly hit us on a counter. I think even they knew they were going to be able to hit Kryvtsov pretty hard on a counterattack because they knew he wouldn't be able to keep up. But it's very situational with Sergii. I think in this sort of situation where they were constantly pressuring us and we had to kind of drop back our line, I thought Sergii was pretty well holding his ground. And yeah, that's pretty much the only situation that I think would suit well for a player like him. So great defender, just not good enough when we want to play a high line and constantly pressure the opponent. Noah Allen made the start over Jordi Alba this time, which I don't have a problem with at all. This is also, I've said before multiple times, I highly rate Noah Allen. I think he's a great prospect. He's a great young player, and I think he will learn a lot from Jordi Alba as his mentor. And why shouldn't you, right? But I've said that I don't like Noah Allen as a starter. I think he's more of a rotational player. He definitely does well off the bench, especially even at the center back role that Tata sometimes puts him in. Starting, I never really liked him. I thought he didn't keep up with the pace normally for the whole 90 minutes, and he would make quite a few mistakes, which is bound to happen as somebody his age performing at the highest level. But yeah, even though I didn't like him starting, I can't take away the fact that he did have a good game. I can't deny the fact that he did have a great game, and I'm really happy for him about that. The first goal was probably conceded because of a mistake between the two defenders there, both him and Freire, just a lack of communication and just watching two completely different parts of the play. But regardless, I love Noah Allen, and I think people who don't like him or think he shouldn't be starting over Jordi Alba, I think really need to reconsider, especially because Jordi Alba won't be here for that long. But I know Noah Allen will be a key player in the future for Inter Miami once Jordi Alba retires. Let's switch over to the midfield. Sergio Busquets does start in that CDM role as he always does, and it's pretty known that he's going to be starting every game. At least in my opinion, he should be. I think he does very well in dictating the tempo, helping out Inter Miami with the passes from the back. And like I said with Kryvtsov, he's not the fastest player. So playing a lower line, I thought really helped. He really dictated that midfield. Him with Redondo is a great partnership and is probably the best partnership in the entirety of the MLS. But I don't want to talk too much about Sergio Busquets. I want to talk more about Gomez and Redondo. Let's talk about Redondo first because of his partnership with Sergio Busquets. I think is a great player. He had a great game yesterday. He did have an assist where he fell multiple times, but still had the urgency, the determination, the commitment to get up and continue the play. And at the end of the day, he placed it right in front of Leo Campana on his left foot where he was able to finish. Redondo is just a younger Sergio Busquets, and him learning from Sergio is going to really benefit his career, even if he doesn't stay at Inter Miami too long. Seeing a prospect like Redondo in Miami and potentially moving into Europe is something great to see. Gomez. Diego Gomez, I do not know why people hate on this guy so much. He is 20 years old. He is very young, very talented, very gifted. I've said it from the beginning that he needed time. He joined last year. He had a slow season last year. He had a difficult preseason. Why do you think that is? He is adapting. He had to still adapt to a new team, a new environment, a new style of play. And I think ever since the MLS regular season started, he's been doing phenomenal. I've said it before, and I'm going to continue to say it. He is arguably the best young player that we have at the club. He creates chances. He wins the ball back. He gets forward really well. He assisted Suarez in that second goal, was able to dribble forward in that attack. He had two defenders on him, but still was able to find Suarez. He scored some goals recently. He's creating chances. He's creating goal-scoring opportunities. I do not understand and will never understand why people are hating on this guy so much. He is the future of Inter Miami if he does stay. He is developing really well so far. I can tell that he's been learning a lot ever since he's joined Inter Miami, and I'm really happy to see him performing well on the field. Inter Miami's midfield, in general, with Gomez, Sergio Busquets, and Redondo, plus the players that are injured like Benjamin Cremachi, Inter Miami definitely have the best midfield in the league. I want to touch on Suarez just a little bit. I know we've talked about him scoring the goals, but it looks worrying from a distance. I've said it before about his injuries, and I've talked about his injuries a lot and how he kind of shows his demeanor on the field when he's not on the ball. His walking looks very painful. He's constantly walking like he has something really bothering him. But then he flips it around and he makes really, really good runs. He runs like crazy on top of that too. So it's making me question what is actually happening behind the scenes with Suarez, because if you're walking like you're in pain, but then you're running, I don't know if it's just the adrenaline of the game, but I'm kind of worried about Suarez in terms of his physical health. I'm loving what he's doing on the field. He's creating chances. He's making those runs. He's finding players. He's definitely contributing and with the other attacking players. But I don't know. I'm physically worried about him and his his problems with his knees, with his feet, with his ankles. So yeah, hopefully everything's well with that. But highly rate Luis Suarez in this game and so far from what he's done for Inter Miami. I want to talk a little bit about the next opponent, which are the infamous New York Red Bulls, where Inter Miami will face them in the next regular season game in the MLS on March 23rd at Red Bull Arena in Jersey. The Red Bulls is, of course, they've made that huge signing of Emil Forsberg from RB Leipzig in Germany. New York are 2-1-1 in the season. I think that they will be making the playoffs, but maybe like just scraping it in either 8th or 9th. So they might get that wild card slot. They recently just took a loss against Columbus Crew 3-0, where in all honesty they didn't play good at all. And I think it's going to be pretty difficult. I mean, taking that 3-0 loss will probably impact them mentally, but I think new week, new mentality, they should be able to go into the Inter Miami game with full confidence, or at least a completely new strong mentality. They're going to want to beat Inter Miami. Messi is not going to be there. A Messi-less team once again, because he is on international duty. They want to think it's very possible to win. I'm not going to underestimate the Red Bulls at all, especially at home, or at their home, I should say. So I want to say that it will be a difficult match for Inter Miami. We are on a really good run. We are in really good form. Yeah, we took one loss, but in all honesty, I think we're one of the best teams in the league. It shows that we can prove it on the field. We should be beating the Red Bulls, in all honesty, but that doesn't mean that they won't go without a fight. So I don't know, depending on their style and how they approach the Inter Miami, if they want to constantly press, I think they might get at maybe 1 or 2 goals. But if we performed like we did last night against DC, I think it's going to be a positive for us, because we now know how to play against a team that is constantly pressuring us. I think Inter Miami are going to beat the Red Bulls at Red Bull Arena 3-1. That is my prediction. That is my match review from Inter Miami versus D.C United at Audi Field for match day 4. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I really hope you enjoyed. Please leave your thoughts in the comments down below. Leave a like on the video and subscribe to the channel if you are new. I'll see you guys in a couple days' time.